June is Icons Month at IGN, where we're profiling iconic video game industry figures, characters, series, and themes. Today we're talking to David Hayter, the original voice of the legendary Solid Snake, about his work on the Metal Gear series, discovering the character's iconic voice, and why Snake is still so meaningful to people.
The key to Snake for me was the fact that he had retired, he'd moved to Alaska, he really didn't want to come back. But when it was time to go in, he can't help himself. He's driven to do the right thing. And he's driven to do the right thing beyond the parameters of his orders or whatever's coming down from the top, because very often he's being lied to. And what tends to happen with Snake is he'll get into a mission and then meet the people and realize what they need. And and he tries to play it off and he tries to play tough, but he just can't help himself. And I think that that's really what makes him him. So many, and there are other heroes like that, but so often you get, especially in video games, you get tough guys who are just like straight out, I'm tough and screw you, blah blah blah, and whatever, and that's fine. But that wasn't what Snake was to me. To me, he was all heart and all responsibility to the world and to the situation. He's not going to ever, he's going to risk his life and go toe-to-toe with a walkie battle tank to stop nuclear Armageddon, because that's just who he is. He can't help it. And I think that that's very endearing, and I think that's part of what, when you're a sensitive gamer, when you're an introvert, when you don't want to go out and you're afraid of the world, and you care about things and the world just hurts you, it's nice to play Snake, feel like he identifies with you, and yet still is able to go out and do what needs to be done despite the fear or the obstacles. I knew that it was going to be a big game. I knew that that Konami and PlayStation were taking a big swing with it, because they were showing me the cutscenes and I could see how revolutionary it was. I read the script. And when I was doing the voice, and I was able to, it's ridiculous and it's gravelly and it's a tough guy, but at the same time I was able to weave in emotional heft to it and real pain into it. And there was a moment when we were recording the first game where I thought, I think people are going to really attach to this.
You're incredible. Like a movie hero or something.
No, you're wrong.
I auditioned with my voice, which is the voice I'm using now, and I pretty much sounded the same when I was like 28 years old when I got the job, and I sounded pretty much like this. And then I got the script and I started reading it, and I realized that he had already become a legend as a special forces guy. He had already quit and retired, and he was tired and bitter, and he didn't want to come back. And I started to feel like my voice was too young for him, or too unfazed by the world so far, because my life has been pretty awesome. So as I read it, I was just like, I don't want to go back. I want to be left alone. And that's how it came together. It just I just didn't feel right doing my natural voice, even though it was the voice that got me the part. I'll tell you, the biggest problem for me was that it's very difficult to end a Snake sentence up without it sounding ridiculous. So it's hard for me to ask questions as Snake, and yet that's all he ever does. But it was exposition you didn't need. It was like, I'm just repeating what the guy before me said. So they'd say, this is a walking battle tank. And I'd be like, a walking battle tank? And they'd say, no, can you make it like a question? I'd be like, a walking battle tank? And it just doesn't have the same thing. So I had to ask 4 million questions in a voice that didn't really lend itself to that. So that was a constant struggle. And it's been 22 years. We've really explored the hell out of this character and this world. But I think that what I said about Snake's heart is something that doesn't come up very often, and I really do think that that's the key to the character. So, when people do Snake impressions for me, which, God bless them, a lot of it is, Colonel, I'm going after Metal Gear. And it's like, it's not just the it's like you care about Metal Gear, and you care about the Colonel, and you care about who's going to get hurt, and it's a different, it just gives the character a lot of heart.